Let's get to the Mideast. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has confirmed the president plans to reveal, quote, his deal of the century peace plan in April of this year. Joining us now is the author of the book, Trump and the Jews, and a favourite guest on Israel on this programme, David Rubin, joins us now. Deal of the century? Do I sense just a touch of exaggeration there?
Well, it is an exaggeration, Stuart.
Sure is.
But they've been talking about it for a long time.
Well, can you tell us anything about it? You're an insider here. What do you know of this possible deal?
Well, there are two possibilities that we've been hearing, and obviously not too many people know what is actually written, where everyone's waiting to see. But there are two possibilities. One is that it's going to be basically regurgitated peace plan, that the old land for peace formula, that they're going to talk about a two-state solution and Palestinian state, perhaps in a slightly lower percentage of Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank.
So that's a two-state plan, right?
Right,
okay.
which is a losing formula.
Okay.
And I have to warn the president, it's a losing formula. He shouldn't go that route. But the other possibility, which I've also heard, is that there's going to be an arrangement by which Israel will get full sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank. And in addition to that, the Arab residents who aren't yet citizens will have a path to Jordanian citizenship. And even though they live in Judea and Samaria, which will be under Israel's sovereignty, so that sounds like an interesting possibility that could have a possibility of working.
So that would actually give Israel absolute sovereignty, not a mere claim, but give them sovereignty to Judea and Samaria, which is a substantial portion of land on the West Bank.
By Israeli standards.
By Israeli standards, yeah, that's very true. Why would the Palestinians or Arabs in general, why would they approve of that?
Well, some would approve of it, but you have to remember there's a second peace process that has been going on for about 2 years, Stuart, and we've spoken about that on previous shows. That is the peace process that's been happening quietly. The cooperation between Israel and Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Jordan and Bahrain and other countries in the Middle East, the cooperation which is both economically based and strategically based as a counter to Iran, which is seeking to dominate the Middle East and support terrorism throughout the Middle East and the world.
Look, David, I have to tell you, I've been in America for 45, 46 years. In every single one of those years, I've heard plans for peace in the Mideast, and we don't have peace in the Mideast. Why should I believe there's any more chance of peace in the Mideast now with this plan?
Well, you shouldn't. We've been banging our heads against the wall. This old land for peace or two-state formula heads against the wall for some 30 years now, and it's never worked. And it's as far from working. And if you ask Israel, ask the average man in the street in Israel, a woman in the street in Israel, they're going to tell you that there's no possibility, there's no way that you can have a Palestinian state, which is basically for the Palestinian Authority, which is comprised of Hamas terrorists and Fatah terrorists and Islamic Jihad terrorists. You can't have a real peace plan with them. Every Israeli will tell you that. So it's a losing battle to go that route. The best route to go is to create cooperation with Jordan, with Egypt, and with the other Arab countries, and to get them working together with Israel to counter Iran, which is the most destructive force in the Middle East by far.
Okay, a little skeptical then on the long-term success of these peace plans.
Well, look,
I hate to be skeptical
Stuart,
about this, negative, but,
Stuart, as I wrote about in my book, Trump and the Jews, I believe that President Trump has done a tremendous job as president in strengthening Israel-U.S. relations, and I want to see that continue. So if I want to see that continue, I have to just speak the truth about what is actually happening and what the potential of success is. I don't want to see him go the wrong route.
Quickly, you've got a wall. You built a wall in Israel. to keep...
We built 2 walls. We have 2 walls that work.
Okay. Are they...
2 walls that work.
And what kind of structures are they?
Well, the first wall was built to separate Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank, from the major Israeli population centers, and to stop the terrorism, the Islamic terrorism that was raging in Israel some time ago. It hasn't stopped, but it's decreased. Why has it decreased? Because of that wall, which is partially made of concrete, partially a steel wall, and you can call it a fence if you wish, to be more gentle. And but the fact is that it cut down on terrorism in Israel's major population centers by 95%. The second wall is at the southern border between Israel and Egypt. And between 2010 and 2012, there was rampant illegal immigration coming in. 55,000 illegal immigrants came from Eritrea and Sudan. And they were causing crime in southern Tel Aviv. There were rapes and murders in a city that never had serious street crime.
And that wall worked?
The wall worked. The wall stopped it to a halt.
Take your message to America's Congress, please. David Rubin, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome,
Thank you, sir.